All right, awesome. Okay, I don't know what time it is, but it's 8:01, so let's get started. All right, Amanda, can I just take over then?
Yeah, go for it, girl.
You don't have any okay, perfect.
I'll do that at the end.
Perfect. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, I'm so excited. In general, I know that I'm just as excited as so many of you for this. Gosh, there's Grow Week happening. The David Wood series. I hope many of you were able to tune into his call with Emily Vavra on Thursday night. That was amazing. Yeah, Rachel, thumbs up. That was fantastic. And I'm looking forward to all the other trainers that he has lined up that just look like there's going to be massive amounts of value. Yeah, with like hundreds of pages of notes. So, and then I'm super excited that Matt and Amanda are kind of piggybacking off of the David events then and using this time over the course of the next couple of weeks to really like do some working calls. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So I want to hold it to 30 minutes. If you have team that were not able to hop on tonight, you guys, I really want to encourage you to share this recording. Because tonight we're going to be doing some like deep identification of what your why is. I know that at the beginning of my build with Isagenix, we did a lot of work around identifying your why. We did a lot of work around what I call really like identifying your anchor to Isagenix. I see some head shaking. Like we did a lot of work around, being able to really plant 2 feet and have such a strong why anchor that the no's and the talking behind the backs and the no likes or comments on social media, the returns of the products, all the crickets, like all those things that we all face in this journey, you would be so anchored that those things would just bounce off of you, right? And so I'm excited to go back to that. So this call tonight is really for those of us that have been building with Isagenix, but also those of you who might be brand new in the last 6 months to Isagenix. Okay, so identifying and listening to your why. So before I move on to the next screen, which some of you I know are just gonna get like a big, giant smile when you see the next screen. It's gonna take some of you back like it takes me back. But I want you to put your phone away. I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen. I want you to turn off the television. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to really like drop into this call, to really like eliminate as many possible distractions as possible. Because this is not a call that you're going to want to be multitasking for. So don't be responding to Facebook messages, etc. Okay. So I'm going to go to the next screen and we're gonna take a couple minutes. Can you see that okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Perfect. Okay, and can you hear it? No? Rats. Okay, hold on. Let me try that again.
Try it again. Yeah, maybe try it again.
It says I can play YouTube with no problem. I'm hoping that's the case. Can't hear that? Darn. I tried this one other time and had the same issue. Oh, okay. Maybe I got out of present mode. Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, thanks, Julie.
Yeah? No? Bummer. Okay, that's all right. We'll skip it. It's okay. It might be actually like a copyright issue, I think. All right, we're just gonna skip that then. But here's what I want you to do. So I want you over the course, your assignment, I guess, I'll go to the assignment first. So your assignment for this week is to watch that Peta Kelly video. Yes, Christine. Like, I remember going to that first Isogenics event, and that video was everything for me when it came to solidifying my why and my anchor, you guys. Like, I just remember listening to Peta, and it was just insanely powerful for one of the very first times in my life to be experiencing someone just giving me permission to think bigger and to really anchor to something other than just like moving through, you know, the typical job world, right? And being focused on accomplishments, right? And so this week, go to work on watching the entire video from start to finish with Peta Kelly, because in the video, Peta talks a lot about attaching your why to an emotion, okay? And if you've listened to any of my trainings before, you've heard me talk about core desired feelings, okay? So we're gonna work through some of these right now, okay? So Peta talks about in the video, identifying the feeling or the emotion that you right now in the season of life that you're in resonate with the most. So think about, what is that feeling that comes up for you that you want more of? Okay, what is that feeling that you are constantly chasing in this season? And for Peta, she talked a lot about exciting. She was seeking excitement. She wanted to feel excited, right? She wanted everything that she was driving for on her vision board: travel, going to the beach in Bali at 2 p.m. with champagne with her friends at, you know, in the middle of a Thursday afternoon. All of that was driven by this core desired feeling of excitement. Okay, and so I want you to take a second, and in the center of your page, in the center of your paper, I want you to identify, what is that one or two core desired feeling that you're chasing? And then I want you to drop it in the comments box. Okay, Sarah, that's great. So choice, but okay. So Sarah, let's dive a little bit deeper into that. When you say choice, what is the feeling? What is the feeling that you are attaching to choice? So maybe you're talking about the choice of whether or not to have to go to work from 8 to 5 every day, right? That's choice. But what feeling are you chasing? Okay. Freedom. That's awesome, Angie. Freedom. What feeling are you attaching to freedom? So think feelings. I know for some people it's really foreign, but think feelings, think emotions. What feeling are you running for when you want time freedom? Time freedom is great, and many of us want time freedom. But the problem is when we don't have a feeling attached to time freedom, when the no's come and the wall kicking moments come, it's really easy to just say, you know what, my job's not that bad. I'm off work by 4:30. I have the summers off. I get to bring my dog to work. Do you know what I mean? Like, so time freedom is great, and we'll get to that here in a second, but what feeling are you chasing? Peace. Good. Relieved. Joy. Fulfillment. Good. Okay, keep them coming in the comments box. What core desired feeling are you chasing? Authentic joy. Security. Very good. Okay, now we're on a roll. Good job. Okay, and then around that core desired feeling, I want you to take a look at the boxes that I have identified. These boxes are typical whys. They're categories of typical anchors, okay? So start with family. In your family box, I want you to write for 30 seconds, what about family equals that core desired feeling? What about family? If you say you want to feel ease, okay, so for family, is it that you want to be able to take your kiddos to school because that fills you with ease? Is it that you want to be able to pay for your kiddos' gymnastics lesson because that provides you a feeling of ease? Is it that you want to have a fourth child because that provides you with a feeling of fulfillment? Right? So think family as it relates to that core desired feeling. Great, Tia, yes. Making sure mom and dad are taken care of. Right, because your feeling is what, Tia? What's your core desired feeling you identified? Peace, very good. So when I know mom and dad are taken care of, I feel a sense of peace. Very good. Okay, so family. Now move on to service. Good, so service. So think about serving other people. I know that's a big why for a lot of you, being able to give and serve other people. What about the category of service is attached to that desired feeling? We'll talk about fulfillment again. I think Julie mentioned fulfillment. So does service feel and give you a sense of fulfillment when you can support a child during Christmas, right? So anything in the service category that's directly related to providing you that core desired feeling, just jot them down. And again, this is not about thinking. This is about intuition. This is about PETA saying, like, lead with emotion. Emotions don't lie, right? When you get really good at listening to your feelings and making decisions with core desired feelings at the forefront, right? You don't think about it. You don't second guess it. You move in that direction. Okay, so think about service and then move to self. In that box, in the self box, what about you? How does your personal why? Maybe it's your personal growth. Maybe it's your physical body. How is that related to your core desired feeling? Peace. How can your why fulfill the core desired feeling of peace? By doing something for yourself. So think self. Move on to goods, good items. I want a Louis Vuitton bag. That brings me my core desired feeling of joy. I want a Louis Vuitton bag because in high school, I had to borrow my best friend's Louis Vuitton bag because she could afford one and I couldn't. Right? That feeling of joy, when I think about buying that bag and knowing that I was able to buy that with my own money from Isogenics, is way deeper than just saying, I want a Louis Vuitton bag, so I'm going to put it on a vision board. I have an actual core desired feeling of joy attached to that Louis Vuitton bag because I remember not being able to have one of my own, but having to borrow and return it because I could not afford it, right? It even had a broken zipper. I remember that. Mine will not have a broken zipper. So that's the core desired feeling for me is joy. And that's something I want to buy. That's in the goods category. Okay. Think about work. Whether you have a current job right now or not, think about your work. Okay. What will that look like or what won't that look like as you think about your core desired feeling. For example, joy, my core desired feeling. I find and experience a lot of joy when I don't have to wake up to an alarm clock, when I can drink my coffee on my back patio and not have to be to work by 7:15 a.m. That brings me joy, okay? Think about hobbies or recreation. I know so many of you want to be able to go on unlimited vacations or go skiing or, you know, I want a lake house, right? But here's the thing. If I put a lake house on my vision board and there's no core desired feeling attached to it, and Sally Sue is the 7th person to send her box back before the 30-day money back guarantee, it's really easy for me to say, I don't really need a lake house, right? But if I can attach an emotion of how much joy it brings me to have a lake house and have friends and family gather there over the holidays and experience community there, right? All of those Sally Sues won't even matter because I am fully emotionally invested in that lake house, okay? So think about your hobbies and your recreational wants and needs. And then think about money. I know that for a lot of us, we talk a lot about time freedom and financial freedom, right? We've heard it already, right? That was like one of the first things to come up. And time and financial freedom is awesome, okay? But time and financial freedom doesn't really mean a whole lot when it comes to an anchor or a why if you're not emotionally attached or invested as to why you want or yearn or desire for time and financial freedom, right? So think about money, think about financial freedom. What would peace, what does peace look like when you think about money? Not having to hold your breath when you use your debit credit card, right? Like what does not having to depend on alimony payments? Yes, because that would provide you a great level of peace, I would imagine, right? Okay, so when you want to quit, Tia, now you have a core desired feeling attached to money. Kathy Coover saying once she had a why of wanting to write checks and not have to worry about how much is in the bank, right? Good, so think about money. Think about how money would make you feel if you were attaching your core desired feeling to it. Think about how you would treat money, how you would talk about money, what you would do with money, how you would post about money if you attached your core desired feeling to it. And then you guys, think about how much more impactful that story would be to your social media followers. If you really shared financial freedom stories with an emotional component attached to it, right? Instead of just saying, I desire financial freedom, right? I desire financial freedom because I desire a deep level of peace because I don't ever want to have to rely on money coming from anybody else. How many people in your network, Tia, can relate to that? Right? Maybe even your own avatar, your own niche, right? The stress of money, right? Okay, and then think about travel. Many of us have a why that's centered around travel. PETA did too. PETA does still too, I'm sure. But think about travel. What about travel is attached to your core desired feeling? Joy. I mentioned mine is joy. I love beaches. I love beaches, but for me to put a beach on a vision board might not be enough. But what I know is when I'm at a beach and I can wake up and walk around barefoot with coffee in my hand and do some yoga and listen to the waves and watch my kids play in the ocean, right? Dance on the beach with friends with martinis late at night, like all of that provides me joy, right? And that moves me. That gets me into action, right? When I attach that core desired feeling of joy and remember what that feels like to be at the beach, that gets me into major action. But if I didn't have that core desired feeling attached to travel, like you, I might just be okay saying, well, travel, I don't know, I'll put it on the vision board. It kind of would be a bonus if I was able to do that, you know? Okay, so think about travel and how that's attached to your core desired feeling. Okay, so those are the main areas, all right? Those are the main areas that we typically see whys fall into the category of, okay? Some of the other things I want to really touch on that Emily shared, is really that, like, we really have to know and feel what really excites you. So if you feel like you're kind of in and out and in and out and 2 toes in and then a foot in and then you're just like completely out, right? Like I would really encourage you to take some intentional, drop your heart into it time this week during Grow Week to really think about your core desired feeling and think about those different areas that were up on the screen, okay? Because the truth is, this business is not hard. Isogenics is not hard, right? What's hard is not being able to pay your bills. What's hard is having to say no more than you can say yes. What's hard is feeling physically like garbage, but I think more importantly, feeling emotionally like garbage, right? What's hard is arguing with your spouse over money instead of 7 days a week, right? Like those are hard. And those are all things, all situations that with a really solid anchor or a really solid why could be completely taken care of by Isogenics and by your Isogenics business, right? But oftentimes we don't have a strong enough anchor or a strong enough why that's keeping us in the game. Because I think it's really easy for us to kind of consider some of these things on our vision board to just be like bonuses. Like if I get it, yeah, I see a lot of heads shaking. Like if I get it, that's great. I'm going to make this pretty board. But then when the going gets tough, I'm going to overcomplicate it and I'm just going to be okay with not getting any of those things, right? We get complacent. So remember, emotions are clues and you get to pay attention to them, right? Emotions are clues and you get to pay attention to them. So pay attention this week. Attention this week to how you're feeling about different things and people and opportunities that are showing up in your life, because those are likely part of your why. If you see someone's story and you're like, oh man, like I wish I could do what she does. I wish I could live where she lives. I wish I could drive what she drives. That feels really joyful, right? Those are your emotions, your intuition telling you something, right? I was just having a conversation with a friend this weekend and she's going through a really hard time. And we were really unpeeling what felt joyful to you last year. What were those memories that you think back on last year and you just were like, gosh, I remember laughing and feeling so excited about that. And we always went back to Isogenics. The calls, the trips, the people, the Peta Kelly videos, the Emily Vavra videos, the Lynn Hagerdorn videos, the personal growth, right? The retreats, right? We always went back to Isogenics, and Isogenics has been missing from her life in the last 7 months, right? And so I really encouraged her to do exactly what I'm talking about tonight. Think about all of the moments in 2020 that felt really amazing. And then think about why those felt amazing. And then go to work with the gift of Isogenics to make sure that you have more of those moments in 2021, right? Because that is like the true secret sauce. The true secret sauce is you. It's finding an anchor and a why that is so strong that you literally are yelling at the computer screen right now. That would be me, because you get so fired up, wanting to fire other people up, right? To anchor to Isogenics and get to work despite the distractions, despite the no's, despite the money back guarantee, right? When you have a strong anchor and a strong why, none of that matters. None of that will matter because you'll be so anchored in. Okay. And I know I only have 2 more minutes, but two more things. I know every single person on this call is an incredible leader. Every single one of us is an incredible leader. Okay. And incredible leaders want to duplicate incredible leaders. Okay. So take some time this week to talk with your team, your up and coming leaders, about what their anchor and what their why is. All right. Because I feel like it's really easy to move away from that conversation and not have that conversation at all and spend a lot of time talking about income producing activities. And I'm guilty of that. But income producing activities don't mean anything if they're not attached to an anchor or a why. Because I know one of the most frustrating things as a leader is to put all of that IPA out there and have nobody do anything with it. And I see a lot of head shaking, right? So go back to having the conversation about what feels really good for them in Isogenics and what their core desired feeling is. What can you help them chase with the help of Isogenics? What feeling? And then what can that feeling provide them in all of those 8 boxes that we just talked about? Because once you have a feeling attached to it, you'll have leaders talking to other leaders, about getting emotionally invested in their Isogenics business, not just physically invested. Okay, and we rarely ever say no to emotions, trust me. Okay, emotions are very powerful. And Peter talked about this in 2014. Okay, and then the only other thing that that Emily talked about was sharing your story. And she talked about before I felt, who introduced you, now how do you feel, and as a result, what are you doing with it? that 4-part story that we used to go over all the time at UIA, for those who've been around, right? And going back to using that 4-part story to help people, up and coming leaders, share their story in a powerful way, because to no coincidence, right? Part 3 of that story is completely attached to emotion. I would even say part 1 and 3. Before I felt, I was introduced by, now I feel, and as a result, I'm helping other moms experience the same level of joy, right? Okay, so she mentioned that 4-part storytelling that we used to do back in the day, and I got the sense that they're really going back to infusing emotion, even new branding, infusing emotion back into sharing isogenics. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful, you guys. I'm happy to drop this very short 3 slides anywhere if you want to use them on a team call or whatever. I'm also happy to hang out specifically about your anchor or your why. You're welcome to message me if you want to really unpeel some onion layers and go a little bit deeper into your why. But it truly is what has anchored me and kept me into massive daily action every single day, even when I don't feel like it. Okay, and it's that core desired feeling of joy for me. The 3 parts, Tia, there's 4, but they're before I felt, who introduced you, now you feel, and as a result, what are you doing with it? And that's at isogenicsbusiness.com. That would be sharing your story. All right, you guys, that's all I have.